It's crazy how time flies. It was 3 months ago when we got the official sort of teaser trailer reveal of the Nintendo Switch 2. And then about a month ago on April 2nd, that's when we got the full reveal from that hour-long Nintendo Direct. But before all of this happened, there were of course a ton of rumors and a ton of alleged leaks. But there is one company, this is a third-party vendor. They make like third-party accessories for several different video game consoles. This vendor is actually getting sued for allegedly multiple times revealing the Switch 2 to a lot of different people, and this was apparently in their own benefit, but obviously Nintendo did not like this. So this was just filed yesterday, and this is on a company from the United States called Genki, Genki, and this is from Delaware, and their parent company is called Human Things. So basically this is a lawsuit against both of those companies, mainly Genki. If you go onto their website, which I will link in the description if you kind of want to see, kind of what they are. I didn't really know what they were until today. But yeah, if you go on their website, you'll see that, yeah, they just kind of sell a bunch of like third-party stuff, different like video game accessories, stuff like that. So anyway, yes, this was just filed yesterday by Nintendo of America, and they kind of lay out the quote-unquote timeline of Genki's wrongdoing. They talked about how in December of 2024, the CEO of GameStop was actually publicly contacted by Genki on Twitter, where they said that they wanted to discuss, quote, the launch Switch 2 accessories that Genki was working on. And just for reference, yes, they are referencing this thread right here where Genki did say that specifically to the GameStop CEO, Ryan Cohen. So that just started it out, and then they say that on January 1st of this year, so New Year's Day, there was something called the Consumer Electronics Show, and Genki made it very public. They were not quiet about this. They made it very public that they were doing a media briefing where they were discussing any information about the not yet announced Nintendo Switch 2. Keep in mind, Nintendo dropped the Switch 2 first reveal trailer on January 16th, and this was back in January 1st. You can see at the bottom they use like an exact like flyer or a posting from this as an example. So Genki had posted about this event on January 7th. They said that they were happy to discuss any Switch 2 info we may have, as well as the stuff we are making for it. I think it's worth mentioning that, it's not really said in this lawsuit like how Genki did get their hands on like the actual schematics of the Switch 2, or knowledge that the console was even going to be called the Switch 2. I mean, I guess that was kind of heavily speculated, but still, as we will go on to see, I mean, they had like 3D printed mock-ups of the whole thing. I'm assuming Nintendo isn't just willingly giving that out to third-party vendors, especially since I don't really think they're like, benefiting from third-party vendors and the sales that they are making. So I mean, yeah, why would they? So yes, that is kind of a mystery of itself, but they do go on to say that Genki's CEO, Edward Tsai, was at this booth on January 7th, and he personally showed off the 3D printed mock-ups and stated to different reporters that Genki had access to an authentic Switch 2 on which they were basing their mock-up on. It also says that a lot of different Genki representatives did multiple interviews with media where they discussed their quote-unquote 8 accessories that they had for the Switch 2. So yes, as I said before, I mean, they were not quiet about how, they've got the Switch 2, they've got the ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory before it even opened and before it was even announced. Very bizarre, very shady, and yes, I'm sure this is one of the many reasons why Nintendo took issue with this. And then it does go on to say that on April 1st of this year, this was the day before the Switch 2 Direct, Genki mass emailed its marketing list and posted on social media an announcement of its own Direct presentation that would be held on the same day as the Nintendo Direct, so the very next day. And then it does go on to say that yes, just 2 hours after the Switch 2 Direct, they sent out a notice to tune in to their Direct, and they were calling it the Genki Direct, and specifically they were going to be unveiling something called the Genki Glitch 2. Obviously, this is very much a product that is built specifically for the Switch 2. Again, you kind of see where they were using all of their early information to their advantage. I'd assume that this is kind of showing that they wanted to be the first people, out the door, right on day one, they can say, hey, you can buy our third-party products for this upcoming console. And it says that yes, when that Direct did happen, they claimed that they would be compatible with the Switch 2, all of their products. You can see on that bottom right screenshot there, they have different like cases and covers and like a Joy-Con station. Stuff you would expect from third-party products, just not something that you would probably expect on day one of the announcement. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell, and as far as what to do going forward, Nintendo says that Genki has 30 days to respond to all of this, and they want them to comply with the injunction. And I should mention that from what I'm seeing, it looks like the injunction or the proposal from Nintendo is they just want basically Genki to stop working with or associating with Nintendo products. That's what I understand it to be. It looks like they're trying to prevent any kind of further infringement, any further IP right violations. They say a lot of times in the lawsuit that a lot of this information, especially before the Switch 2 reveal, confused a lot of their consumers, and they just basically want that to stop. So it doesn't look like they're seeking any kind of monetary gain from this. That's not to say it's impossible for that to happen. I don't know if a judge could actually make that happen, even if it is not being requested. But we will see what happens with this company, Genki. They kind of, they were very loud and proud about their early knowledge of the Switch 2, but it turns out that it did not work to benefit them in the long run.